All right, so what we're gonna do, I'm gonna get started because, you know, like everybody wants to get on their day, nobody wants to hang out here late with me. So we're gonna get going, and, but I wanna make sure everybody's got coffee, tea, everyone's comfortable, because today it's really like a TV show. We're gonna do some role play. Everybody comfortable? Awesome. Just a gentle reminder to put your phones on vibrate. I'm not asking you to turn them off, because I know that it's our lifeline, right? So I don't want you guys to turn it off, but just put it on vibrate just for your own sake. And but if you want to, seriously, I want you to feel comfortable. I'm comfortable. Just make sure you get my good side.
Oh, goodness. You have two good sides.
One and one. No.
Yeah, oh my goodness.
Not quite. Hansel, if he doesn't get my attention, hey, Hansel, come here, come hello, and tell hello. Yesterday you stared. You know what? I'm laughing. Hansel, I got everybody. Hansel Chung, everybody. Yesterday you kept trying to get my attention. They're recording me now. They're recording me now, so I couldn't go, oh, hi, Hansel, in the middle of my class, because I have people watching online, and they're going to be like, what the heck is she doing? She's lost her mind.
Sandra.
What's that?
That's what it's on.
Yeah, you know what? That's it. I usually do. Hi.
On and on the board, you can see that you're
Really
shaking.
today, exactly. It's like, hey, how's it going? And it's like, oh, okay, I better behave myself, you know? Are you sitting in on class?
Let me get my coffee first.
Awesome. Today we're doing role play on, for listing presentation. Okay, so what we're gonna do, and I hope I have enough, and if not, we'll make sure. We're gonna take, if you can take one, hand it out. Today we're gonna keep it pretty simple, so before I start, I wanna just quickly ask if anybody had any questions about yesterday's session, anything come to you afterwards? Everybody was okay with yesterday's content? Any questions afterwards?
It was a nice presentation. It's very nice.
Thank you kindly. I enjoy what I do, and I love having fun with my agents. So, oh, and here comes trouble. Zane's coming. I love teasing my agents. Okay, today we're going to be doing a role play. And what we're going to be doing is going through the actual structure of the listing, because a lot of times we do. Good morning, Zane. I was joking when I saw you. I said, "Look, here comes trouble. Here comes Zane." Good afternoon. Good afternoon. All right. So we're going to be doing a role play, and you know what? It's going to give you an idea of, you know, the structure of what it is and how to do it, and we're going to be doing it like it's going to be a little bit choppy in the sense that, number one, it's a fake conversation, right? Number two, I want to get certain points across. So I'm going to make sure that I stop and we'll say, you know, and I'll make a point of certain things. Thank you so much. Thank you. Zane, did you get a handout?
I did.
Okay, excellent. And what I'm going to do, thank you so much. What I'm going to do is I'm going to keep the handouts here so that then if there are any latecomers, this is only our script for a CMA, okay? Page 1, you'll see the 1-minute presentation. That is if you know the person, okay? So that's the script if you know the person. Now, what I like about these scripts is they're very straight to the point. And I like that they're straight to the point because we can add our own personality in afterwards. We don't need a script to tell us. If you want to do some research on that, by all means, but when I instruct, I like to cut through the chase. I like to give you the facts, what you need, and then you can add your personality and conversation after. But I like using these scripts only as cue cards, right? Only, oh, way to go, Daniela. And a nice way to make an impression, eh? And she just joins us. Phone like going crazy. No worries, it happens, it happens. So I prefer to use these scripts, and we're gonna go through the script first, and then I have my lovely assistant Mo, who's gonna help out. He's gonna be our seller today. I've given Mo some instructions as to what the subject property is, and to make it a little bit easier, but at the same time, I like role playing with Mo because he's First of all, he's a great actor. You guys are going to see it. I bust out giggling sometimes when we role play because he puts on this show in the face and everything. I'm like, I can't look at you, Mo. So he's going to. I know you're going to do a great job, and I thank you for volunteering.
No problem.
So I've given him some instructions so that we can get through it because I know he's going to challenge me. So I said easy so we can get through the script. Okay. So we're going to do that in a moment. And I do have my CMA over here. I'm going to put everything together. But before we do that, I actually want to talk to you guys about just a few things, okay? So before we talk about the script, and I'm going to get myself ready, of course. Before we talk about the script, when does your listing presentation start? Any idea?
As soon as you enter.
As soon as you enter the home? Anybody else?
As soon as you see them first time or talk to them first time.
As soon as you talk to them the first time. Anybody else? Good morning.
Hi.
I mean afternoon.
Yeah.
Okay, anybody else?
After the kids at home.
After you what? After you look at the home? My pleasure. It starts the minute that you drive down the street. And when I'm talking about the actual listing presentation, right? So the challenge here is if you are, all great answers, by the way, I just wanted to confirm that. But we don't stop to think, like, you know what, you're driving down the street and maybe the neighbors are there and they've had a conversation. Oh, I have Sandra Porretta from Royal LePage, she's coming. And you know what, they could be on the phone with them. Oh yeah, I think I see her, she's driving down. I think, oh my God, is she arguing? She's arguing with someone. So can you imagine, you drive on the street, maybe you're telling your kids off or you're having an argument with someone, you're on the phone, and you're at the screen like this. What an impression that makes. That's a nice first impression. And you never know. And trust me when I say they have people watching. And I can remember doing open houses and they say to me, you know, how did it go? I said, obviously I'm going to be honest with my client. Like, what the heck? And I said, well, you know, 5 people came through or whatever. Yeah, I know. I look at them like they have 3 or 4 eyeballs. Like, what are you saying? You just asked me the question. You tell me. I had my neighbors watching. So you'd be surprised at what people will do. So I say this so that we are aware, okay? We're aware. Not only that, but they could have friends or family, like on the street, not before we talked about friends, but family on the street, maybe family across the street, maybe who the heck knows across the street watching as you drive in, or they themselves could be watching you, okay? So always make sure that as soon as you're turning in the area, you don't want to give anybody the bird that maybe, you know, cut you off as you drive up. It happens. I got to tell you guys a funny story because, you know, we forget, we take things for granted, right? We think we have our invisible suit on when we're driving in our cars. I can recall, this was many, many years ago, I was driving into a gas station. They've now turned it into condos, but I was driving into a gas station and this lady in this huge Hummer truck, I had positioned my car to the side because I wanted to be courteous. Like, she was getting gas and now she had to exit. And I thought, oh my goodness, that vehicle's kind of on the big side. So I'm just going to move to the side here. And I just sat and I waited for her to leave. I don't know why, but she gives me the bird. And I'm like, what the heck? So I just looked at her and I kept looking, boy, that truck, that Hummer truck looks like my buddy's vehicle. A gentleman that I've done a lot of work with, mortgage broker. And he invited me to his wedding. And guess who the bride was?
The one who gave you the bird.
The one that gave me the bird. We don't think, right? We don't think that it'll come back to haunt us. And you just never know. We're out in the public a lot, so it's something that we have to be very cautious and aware of. I'm just going to close this door here.
Sandra, what cracks me up is when you find some people who are driving a truck, especially when they're doing rentals and stuff like that, and they got the sign all on the side.
Yes.
Then they are really discourteous on the road. They cut you off.
Well, they have their business or their cars are wrapped with their business.
Yeah.
You know, it happens.
Yeah,
But
right.
the thing is, though, it can happen to any of us. It can happen. This is something, whether we like it or not, we all, you know, have fallen to this because when you're driving or maybe you're having a difficult day or you know, whatever, it can happen. We're all human. And it can happen to all of us, right? So it's one of these things that we got to be aware. So when you turn on the street, That's when your business presentation commences, because we don't know who's watching, and you want to always give like, calm, cool, and collected type appearance, right? You get out of your vehicle, and what do? You start looking at the home. You get out of your vehicle, you start looking at the area. Oh, there's like, there's a park down there. And chances are you've already done that research, or you already know. But the thing is, you want to show your client that you are interested, right, in them. Remember, this is not about being interesting, it's about being interested. And so you want to know, and if they're watching you, they can see, oh, look at that. She's, she's taking a look at the area. She's being very conscientious. Oh, that's great. So then after that, you walk towards the home and you start taking notes if you can. And now sometimes it might not be possible depending on the time of year. You might have, all kinds of apparatus on, right? But at one point, you take the notes about the outside, but you are going to take note. Are there pot lights outside? What kind of landscaping are we dealing with? Do we have interlock walkways, driveway? And the client will be impressed that you paid attention. Okay, so these are things that are important. Then what we do is they answer the door. So we knock on the door, they answer the door, and what do you do? What do you say? Yo, how's it going? No? Nobody wants to say that?
Hi, sir. How are you doing? Or hi, Mr.
Hi, exactly. How are you doing?
Yeah, how we did.
How are you doing, right?
Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you, Zane. Exactly, right? Thank you. So hi, I'm Sandra. Very nice to actually meet you, and thank you so much for having me here this evening. I look forward to helping you with your home and selling it. Thank you so much. Excellent. Okay, so you want to say something like that, all right? Although you know what, I kind of like yo, but I don't think it'll get you in the door. You might have some challenges afterwards with that, at least with credibility. So that's what you want to do, okay? Make sure. Now, here's the other thing too. I shook Mo's hand. Be aware of the culture. Some people don't like having their hand shaken, right? Can we talk about that? Cultures, that we got a different cross section here. Which cultures can I talk to that don't want a woman to shake their hand or a man to shake a woman's hand? Japanese. Anybody else? Muslims, so I've been caught a couple of times with that. Yeah, anybody else?
Japanese don't like shaking hands.
No, a woman shaking the hand of a man.
Yeah, women have to even walk a little bit behind their men. Yeah, if you're looking at the true culture, and we don't know here in Canada, a lot of us have now amalgamated. Yeah, so we've assimilated, right?
Initials were Japanese.
Oh, Marvin. At least behave yourself until 3 o'clock. At least.
I thought I was putting my good foot forward.
Yeah, until that comment. Okay, so let's keep going. Any other cultures? Orthodox religions, in particular Jewish. And I had fun with that. I have a dear friend of mine, she's Jewish. And I was doing showings in the Bathurst and Center area down in there. Very Orthodox area, at least at the time, and I think it still is too. And I always, when I go to do a showing, it's like, hi, I'm Sandra from Royal LePage. Thank you so much for allowing us to take a look at your home today. And they would look at me like, with the curls, and I'd be like, what did I do? So I go and talk to my girlfriend afterward. I'm like, shoot. I said, what's going on? Oh, yeah. She's like, they're Orthodox. The women are not supposed to touch the men and vice versa. I didn't know that, okay?
But if it's you're doing it, what's the issue?
What's that? They shook my hand. They just looked at me crooked.
Oh, you mean you? Like,
Yes,
you
exactly. So to be aware, I'm just saying be aware, So now what I've actually learned is, on the most part, depending on the situation, I'll go ahead and extend the hand. But if I know a little bit about them, I'll be hesitant and I'll let them give me their hand first. Okay? So I'm just asking you guys to be aware, because it's a professional thing to shake a hand. Sometimes it could be an offensive thing. Yes. Okay? So just be aware of your client. Okay. So then I'll show you the rest as we go through the property when we do this property, when we do our role play. What I want to do is draw your attention to the script just for a moment, okay? And the reason why I'm saying that is if the script for a CMA presentation is rather lengthy, take a look at item 13. No worries, no worries. Here you go. My pleasure. You didn't get one of these? No problem. There you go. So item 13.
We missed page 11. One page is missing.
Oh my goodness.
What did you
I gave it to the new guy at the front desk.
And yesterday they didn't give you the presentation file, right?
Four is missing.
You know what?
Page 11 is
Missing.
missing. Do you want me to go?
Yeah. But you know what, there is.
Go hunt it
Yeah.
down for you?
Yeah, of course.
This one here. Thank you. And you know what, I'm gonna see if there's any in here. Oh my word. Like, really?
Let's catch.
You have to have eyeballs like all over the place. Okay, none of these. Okay, this one has it. Because I know some of them I took, the ones that I took have it. Let's see. You know, how can you miss that this kid? I told him it was double-sided. Anyway, done. All right, let's read it and then we'll get you guys proper copies, okay? So let's read through here. So 13, it says here, there's a portion on here that has to do with how you do, you're making me laugh, I'm sorry, with that comment. I'm just trying to keep it together, but I can't. So it says here, this home is just like yours, okay? This part of the presentation is very important. I'm gonna stress it today. It says how many bedrooms, how many baths, how many square feet, do you know this neighborhood? Have you seen this home? Okay, and then you proceed to ask, this house is better, this house is a little better than yours, and this house is very similar to yours, okay? So I'm gonna break that down for a second, and I'm gonna role play it with you, Danny, if I may, okay?
So are you basically saying to start with,
No, I just want you guys to pay attention to this portion of the script. And the reason why I say it is, this is the hard part. Because the other stuff is relatively easy and you can remember and you gotta do certain things and I get that. But this is the hard part that I find most agents have challenges with. So I wanna make sure that I talk about it first and then we'll do the role play, because without that, the role play won't make too much sense, okay? So I'm gonna say to Danny, yes.
Somebody, this house is better than yours. Doesn't that make you feel uncomfortable saying?
I'm not worried about that. Remember what I said earlier is the script is very to the point. You can add your personality to it after, but I am gonna teach it to you very harsh, okay? So that you walk away with the concept. That's what I want. You want to alter it a little bit, no problem, but first I want you to get the concept, okay?
So we can tweak it for our own.
You got it. Thank you for raising that, because you know what, it's important that we drive that point home. Okay. All right. So it says here, this home is just like yours. So I'm gonna, may I, Danny?
Sure.
Thank you. I'm gonna pretend I've got a bunch of listings here, and I'm gonna say, Danny, you see this home here? This home has how many bedrooms? And I show him, I point to him, and I make him say 5 bedrooms. Is everybody comfortable?
I think it's coming up.
Yes, yes. Okay. This home, okay, so the question here I'm asking him is, how many bedrooms, right?
That's the same, that's the same.
No, I think what you have to do is Sandra.
13, you said 13.
You were referring to
No,
number.
the point is there.
Whoa, 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 stop 1 second, we've got a question.
You're on page 13.
Both page 13 and question number 13. See? So there are actually 2 pages that are missing.
Page
So
11.
she gave us numbers 25.
Because I saw page 13 is missing.
This
Page
is
No, we're
11.
on page 13.
It's number
But
13.
page
11.
13
Page
also was
11.
missing.
Yeah, 11.
It's not funny because
No, I
page
agree.
13 was
Page 11 is missing.
missing. So
No.
page
Okay.
11 is missing too. Okay,
Yeah.
right.
Thank you. It is, and we are taking the video. Okay, so this home is just like yours. Okay, so we're gonna look at this. So let's go back. Okay, I need you guys to focus because we gotta keep going.
Okay.
We can catch up with this other stuff. I need you guys to hear because it's not important what you have. Normally what we do is we don't hand anything out for this reason, and you guys get the email, okay? But I really wanted you to have something in your hands, so, but please listen, all right? So, you see this home here, Danny?
Mhm.
Excellent, okay. How many bedrooms is this?
Is there 5?
5 bedrooms, exactly. And how many baths?
3.
3 baths, exactly. What's the square footage here?
Square footage.
Yeah, 3,500.
3,500,
Just use that. I'm just cueing you. Excellent. And do you know this neighborhood?
Roughly, no.
Roughly not. Okay. So I take it you haven't seen this home then?
Exactly.
Okay, excellent. Well, this home is just like yours. Okay? And then you move on to the next. All right? So Danny, see this home?
Mm-hmm.
All right. How many bedrooms?
It's 5. 4.
4. Exactly. I'll cue him because he's okay. And how many baths?
2.
Excellent. How many square feet? 3,000.
3,000.
Excellent. And now, do you know this neighborhood?
Yes.
Have you seen this home?
Once I visited this.
Excellent. Okay, well, your home is better than this one. Okay, move on to the next one. All right, so see this home here, Danny?
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. How many bedrooms is this? 6.
Just 6.
Excellent. How many baths?
5.
Wow, I can imagine it's got 5 bathrooms,
It's
eh?
huge.
And how many square feet?
About 4,000.
4,000. Yes. And do you know this neighborhood?
No.
No, eh? Okay, so you haven't seen this home either?
No.
Okay, this home is better than yours,
Okay.
okay? Now, the reason why we say that is because we're driving in a certain point. Now, to Arvin's point, you can say other things. You don't want to say your home is better than our home is better, because that's like a little bit, oh, this is my home, right? So your home is larger, this home is larger. You know, this home is smaller than yours. This one is exactly like yours. It's comparable, okay? And you can say it differently, but for the purpose of understanding the exercise, I want to go through it with you guys. I want to make sure that you get that so that you can see. Now, CMAs can be difficult, but this is it's a very structured process, okay? At least it should be. And the other part here is, so what price were they asking? And Danny would tell me, right? And how long has it been on the market? And you point to the days on market, right? And you said you need to be in Bradford by June, is that right? And you just keep going, all right? So you keep driving it home. Now, what I find is you can't do that repetitively for each home. So use your discretion, okay? Use your discretion. But for the purpose of us learning the script, I will go over it, okay, each time, just so you guys get the point. But we don't want to sound like a presentation when we're with our clients. We want to sound like a conversation, okay, and that we're listening to them. But the whole point of this exercise is to include them, okay? We have to cognitively get them into the same space that you're at, okay? Any questions so far? Excellent, excellent. The other item I want to draw attention to is page 12, now that we've got home, and item 14. And it says here, what price do you feel we should use to create value in the eyes of the buyer and get someone to decide to buy your home versus the competition? Okay, so now I'm going to ask him. I'm not going to put it on me just yet. And some people will say, well, that's what I got you here for. And I'll say, yes, indeed, we're going to have that discussion. Absolutely. I just want to hear your thoughts. You know, I value your thoughts. Okay? So get them to tell you what's going on. Why do I want to get them to tell me what's going on in their head?
Zero doubts.
0 doubts. What was that, Frank?
Include them in the.
Want to include them? We talked yesterday about diagnosing and malpractice, right? So we want to ask questions. We want to ask, right? And then we know how to handle it, because here's the other thing too. What if the home value is 1.1, okay? You think you could get 1.2 and the client is happy with $1 million, right? What if? Now you know how to approach that. Now I'm not saying go list that property at $1 million, but now you saying 1 million, 0.1 will get you that listing, right? As opposed to making it a little difficult because you're trying to push it and push for 1.2 or whatever. It's good to know what is in their mind because they may already be on the ball. You know, and then you can turn around and even validate that and say, wow, you know what, it's so nice it's refreshing to work with someone who actually knows what's going on in the market. I totally agree with you.
Or we could have a friend like yours, the guy in Aurora yesterday wanted $350 and then settled for $299.
Well, this is it, but he only,
75.
he said, yeah, he
Oh, he
settled
settled for
Oh, listing,
$299 listing.
yeah.
to list it at $299 and then the sale was $275. Exactly. And why? Because I included him every step of the way. And then when we sold, he was actually happy. He didn't feel like he lost money, right? So this is very important to include them in the discussion, bring them into that. TMO, exactly, okay? All right, so we're gonna start with the actual presentation. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use this as a front door, and so you'll see, obviously I'm gonna act all together, what everything that we're talking about. Before I get into the home and before we start, Mo, I'm going to just say a few things to make life a little bit easier for you. So the clothes that you wear, you want them to be professional, polished, clean, make sure that you're clean. I know I don't have to tell you guys that. But I'll never forget, one of the agents I worked closely with when I was a rookie, he used to say, they already don't want to talk to you, make sure you don't have bad breath. He used to always say that. And that guy was always brushing his teeth and everything and making sure he smelled good. Because he said, they already don't want to talk to you, so make sure everything else is in place. But can you imagine, has anybody ever had a conversation with someone that didn't smell so nice? How close did you want, how about, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to make it painful for you. But someone with bad breath, right? The last thing you want to do is get the heck out of there. And I get it, you know, I don't want to make anybody feel like we all have been there. We've all had moments, right? So make sure that you have taken care of yourself that way. Your shoes, because remember, we're going to be taking our shoes off. So we want to make sure we have nice socks on. We had a conversation. Actually, maybe if you want to share that conversation about the socks.
Yeah, I told yesterday to Sandra about my uncle. I have an uncle. He's in Persian carpet for over 40 years. He's kind of international businessman all around the world. So, and I used to live with him like a few months in Middle East, in Oman, in one of his showroom for the carpet. And he told me that 20 years ago, he bought a pair of socks from Pierre Guardian in $200.
Can you imagine $200 for a pair of socks?
$200. And he said after your cousin grew up and he became an adult, he told me that why you did pay this amount of money for this pair of socks, and you could do something else or expand your business.
Yeah.
And he said to me, your cousin doesn't know about the business, because whenever I went to especially the Arab people, I used to remove my shoes. And then when I put my over the other one, I swear to God, because I live with them, they look at you very, very excited, and they analyze you.
Right.
So from your watch, from your pen, from whatever. And my uncle said to me, from that time that I put my leg over the other one,
to show the logo of the socks.
Yeah. And he said, I went there to sell that carpet $5,000, but I sold $10,000 and came out.
Those socks paid off.
Yeah, exactly. He believed, and I believe that too.
Yeah.
Because I saw during these years that my friends and also my uncle, because all of my family are doing business in Iranian carpet. So especially my uncle.
People are looking for that. We were saying that, okay, that logo, those socks are a mark of credibility for that particular gentleman that was checking it out.
Yeah.
The point is, now please guys, don't go out and buy $200 socks.
It depends also to the culture, I said.
Yeah.
For example, maybe for European people, doesn't matter. They
That's
don't
right.
care.
Or they might not understand.
Yeah,
Like, I don't understand.
exactly.
I didn't know that there was $200
But
socks.
about especially the Arab people, especially those who live in Dubai, because during last 30 years, they totally different from 0 to 100.
And that's smart too, is to pay attention to who your audience is, right? Because you know, some people will understand it, some people won't. The key thing, but I thought I'd add it because that's kind of like a cherry on top, right? It really drives the point home. The thing is, when you show up, make sure that you have nice things on, okay? Clean, no holes in the socks. Ladies, if it's summertime and you're walking around in bare feet, make sure you have like a little pair of like those slip-on-y type shoes. Don't walk around in bare feet, right? And we have that extra thing to be pedicured on top of it all. So this shows people notice these things. And don't wear your favorite pair of shoes to a listing appointment. Make sure that they're nice shoes, where they look nice on the inside. I remember, oh my goodness, where was I? I can't remember, but I think I had gone with one of the agents you know, she had come along with me, and she took her shoe off, and it was like all leopard skin, like the leopard print on the inside of the shoe, and I was like, oh, that doesn't give the right message. You know, you want to see a nice shoe, nice, normal, clean shoe, right? And luckily, there are places that we don't have to go in and blow the bank to do these things. So the key is to make sure that you're clean and neatly polished. Make sure that whatever shoes you're taking off, everything looks good, nice and clean. People will look at us, and they are, remember we talked about this yesterday, 3 things that they're assessing us with. What is it?
Our appearance.
Can I trust this person? Right? Can I trust them? Are they going to do what they say they're going to do? Right? Are they capable of doing the job, in other words? And what's in it for me? And whether we like it or not, impression management is huge in our industry. So impression management in everything, like when you coach closely with me, you'll know that I train you on what to say, how to say, and all kinds of stuff, okay? Impression management is everything, because we only have a few moments to prove that we can get the job done, okay? So the other thing that we want to talk about is wearing something that's relatively comfortable, right? So that you're not squirming in your clothes and you feel comfortable, okay? If it's winter, you want something that's easy to remove. You don't want, you know, some of us ladies, like for instance, I'm wearing something like this. Can you imagine to put this in a coat sleeve? I would go bananas, right? And then I'd be looking in front of my client like this and tugging. I would look ridiculous, okay? What I like are shawls, and thank God they're like in style. So you can come in looking glamorous, it's easy to take off, easy to put back on, okay? All right, so a few things like that. The other thing is, before we start, is if they offer you a glass of water or a tea or a coffee, take it. Why?
Because some people get offended if you don't.
Some people get offended if you don't.
It's cultural,
Respect.
it's cultural that they do that.
Cultural, it's hospitality, right? It's hospitality. So now here's the other challenge, guys. We're gonna go in homes and people might not always be clean. Oh, I had a situation. There were 3 Doberman pinschers walking around, big dogs. There was dirt on the floor. I'm reliving it in my head, obviously. And she, and it was dust and dirt, and it was just, the whole house was gross. But she was so lovely. She was a really nice lady. And she offered me a tea. I have to say that was the only time I said no. I couldn't do it. And I left my shoes on, and I was like, So there are situations that I do get it, and I do respect. So, but be courteous wherever it's absolutely possible. Okay, any questions for me before we start? Everybody gets the concept of how to include someone in the CMA? For today, I'm going to actually read the CMA, okay? So I'm going to read through it. It's a long script. I don't ever expect anybody to memorize it. I've been using it for 20 years. I don't use it verbatim, like off the top of my head. I actually have it in my listing package as questions to ask the seller, or agenda or something like that. But I always have it as questions to ask the seller. They're not going to read it. They're not going to see it. They see it as a list of questions, okay? But that's your cue cards right in front of you. So don't ever feel badly to do that. I know of a top agent who does this all the time, still today, and he's been in the industry 40 years. Okay, so don't feel bad to have that. All right, no questions? All right, we're gonna start. So Mo, I'm going to go outside, so I'm gonna put my shawl on, and Mo, you're gonna come, this is our kitchen table, okay? And we'll go through.
Where do you want me to follow?
Nothing, you don't need to, yeah, just go play, just play with me.
Okay. Got it.
And here's my coffee that you're gonna be offering me, okay?
Okay, perfect.
Do you want one for yourself?
No worries.
Well, you have to have something too, right? Don't you forget, you have to put, so there, yours is already on the table there. Okay. Now, oh, the other thing I wanted to mention, guys, it's a little bit easier for you guys because you carry like your wallet and stuff on you. Women, we have purses, right? And we have everything and our kitchen sink and bathroom sink in there too. So what I do is I leave all my valuables in my car. I don't, if there's something like my wallet, I don't bring it in. I don't bring it in with me. And what I actually do is with the purse is I put it down in the kitchen while I go looking around the house. And they'll probably look at me and say, oh my gosh, she's leaving her purse and everything here. If I trust them, they will trust me automatically. If they see that I trust them, they'll automatically deem me to be a trustworthy person, right? So I take my purse, I leave it there, meanwhile all my stuff is in the car. Okay, so don't bring any of that stuff in there, but do bring whatever it is that you have to. All right. Okay. So that'll be the front door.
Okay.
And so remember, guys, when does the listing presentation start? As soon as I drive in, right? What's that? Exactly. And what else am I going to do when I get out of my car?
Show, pay attention to exterior.
Exactly. Okay. All right. So let's begin. Let's have some fun.
I think she's supposed to door knock me.
She's looking outside, checking neighbor.
No, you don't have to go there and say, oh, I was expecting and waiting for you. No, no. Oh, there, she's looking around, see? No, looking around.
Did you give her the address? Yeah.
You got the wrong address.
The wrong address. I don't want her to come.
She's looking for someone else.
Throw them out. It's fine.
Hello, are you Sandra?
I'm Sandra.
Oh, pleasure to meet you. My name is Mo. How are you? Please come in.
Thank you so much, Mo. Thank you so much
How
for
was the
having me
drive?
over. It was great. Okay, don't stop. Didn't I tell you, guys? He puts on a good show. I can't keep a straight face.
I can't find the script.
What's that?
I cannot find the script.
You're still on the script, just pay attention. Don't worry about that. Seriously, it's more important that you see what's going on. Thank you so much. The drive actually was lovely and your home is gorgeous. And you know, I was paying attention here. Even your neighbors keep the property nice as well, eh?
Oh yeah. I spent like around $200 in renovation. I want the front lot to look beautiful.
Yeah, you
So
did
I know
that.
when I have guests over,
Yeah.
it looks great and attracting. And
It really,
was a
yeah,
beautiful place
you've
for
got
my
some
kids.
great curb appeal. You know, when I list your home, I really want to make sure that we get some good photos of that. I think that's important.
Oh yeah, perfect. If
Yeah,
you could
and-
hire like a great photographer. that
Oh,
would be
yeah,
great.
definitely. No, well, listen, we're gonna talk about that. I got all kinds of tricks in my magic bag. And you know what I noticed too? There's a really nice, there's a nice park down the street. And
Mhm.
when I do the feature sheet, we really should mention that because I can see that there's a lot of families in this area.
Yeah. If you feel like it adds value to the home, then
Yes,
perfect. Do what you
excellent.
need to do.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And your front entrance is just lovely. Oh my goodness. Did you renovate this?
Yeah. My wife wanted something like
Ah.
beautiful. She's very picky. She wants like luxury, cultural. So she's
Yeah,
very
no,
so.
beautiful job. And don't say that you have a wife because then she's gonna be here. You know what? Is it okay if I leave my stuff in your kitchen here? Is that okay?
Sure.
Awesome. I'm just gonna.
Would you like something to drink, coffee or
This
tea?
is so nice. Thank you
Yeah,
so
what do you
much,
like?
Mo. Just a chai tea.
Perfect.
A Kashmiri chai.
Yeah. I had it ready made for you because I knew you were
Oh,
Indian.
that's wonderful. Thank you so very much.
No problem.
So have a seat.
What I would love to do actually before we sit down, if it's okay with you, is I would love it if you could give me a tour of your home. Would that be all right?
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome.
So where
And
did you start?
well, you know what? Let's start here with the kitchen. I actually, before I want to take, I'm going to jot some notes down about the outside and your front
Okay.
foyer before, because I don't want to forget. This will be emailed to you guys, okay? It's a checklist of all the things that you could be looking at in a home. So I actually like to walk around with this and I check things off because I have a conversation. What's that?
Is that in the marketing package?
No, it's not. This is something that I came up with many years ago, yeah. And this is what I do when I'm going through a listing. Number one, I want to show them that I'm interested, right? Obviously. Secondly, while I'm having a conversation with them, and you might connect with someone, or you might be nervous, you'll forget. The other thing that I liked about this is I used to write it out, and I used to give it to my assistant, and based on the notes, because she knew what I was doing usually, because now she was comfortable with me, she would create the MLS from this.
Is that ask, can we, is that a GIS or?
No, this is just a checklist.
Remarks.
Like-
Is it an editable
It's
PDF?
gonna be emailed to you,
It's
but
gonna be emailed,
Be
no, it's
patient.
not.
It's not editable.
No, it's not. So what it says here is property address, name of vendor, it says outside, mature landscaping, number of garage doors, like everything that you would find in a home, okay? So it even prompts you to ask questions as you're going through, okay? Yes?
Shall I keep my questions at the end or?
No, please, let's make it interactive, that's why
So
we're
if he
starting here.
offers you wine, liquor.
Oh my God, that's happened.
And the table was ready, you said, wow, there is.
Yeah, and
Go
it
ahead,
has
Mr.
happened, it has happened with some people. I remember we assigned a listing with, oh my God, with, I'll never forget, a Russian couple, they were really nice. And he had just bought this beautiful liquor, I don't even know, but it was some fancy thing that had two sides and it twisted, and when you pour it, make the drink. I don't know what the heck it was, and he was all excited to show this off. I don't drink at all. I don't. Thank goodness I had my girlfriend with me, that she came along. And so what we did was I took the drink, and when he wasn't looking, I swapped it after she drank it. Oh, it was delicious. I said, thank you. But you know what? Sometimes it's difficult not to accept certain
So
things.
may I ask, you said you took someone with you. Is that
Yeah.
something you do normally?
No, it's not. What I found when I was selling full-time, I was selling anywhere between 4 to 6 houses a month.
Okay.
And sometimes all of that would happen in a week. Like I can recall selling 6 homes in a week. And I was exhausted, beyond exhausted. So I would grab one of my good friends, and we used to do this for each other. And I used to say to her, please be my eyes in case like something, I'm missing something or whatever, because I'm tired, right? It can happen. You're going around the clock. Back then we would do offers up until 3 in the morning. It wasn't uncommon that we just keep rolling. Today it's a little bit different.
What if you're alone and you're Muslim?
What do you mean if I'm alone and I'm Muslim?
You're Muslim, yeah. And they're offering you wine.
Oh, jeez.
So is it-
Yeah, you know what? You just say yes and you leave it there. Don't draw attention to it, right? Don't draw attention. And afterwards, I would say that it has happened. I really enjoy. I had a couple of sips, but I have a full evening. I can't. I need to drive, and I'll start.
You should bring some excuse.
Yeah, exactly. Just be prepared. I gotta drive it. You know what? Thank you kindly for your hospitality, and that's it.
And for example, when you enter the house, should we only talk about the house and everything about the house, especially about the house? So for example, if you saw his car outside the house, can you start, oh, such a beautiful car you
It
have?
depends.
Or probably you know something about the cars and you can.
Nothing
explain.
wrong with that. What you're talking about is heightening your likability.
I think it's help to break
It
the
does,
ice.
it does. Now that, what you're talking about, and some of the other items that we're gonna go through here, I've put together a course on closing. It's called goal-oriented selling, okay? And we talk about that in the course, so that'll be coming up soon, probably maybe end of March, if we can get it out there that quick. It also will show different closing techniques, how to close. It's goal-oriented selling. And that's where we're gonna address things like that. That's called likability factor. So what you wanna do is you wanna be friendly and of course relevant. There's a whole pyramid that you go through to be likable, okay? So but we'll talk about that in that course. The other thing I wanted to point out is if you noticed, did anybody catch that I said, when I do the feature sheet, I wanna include, right? When I list your property, I've gotta put the landscaping out there. What am I doing? That's a close. It's called assuming the conversation close. I'm here. Of course I'm gonna list. Why wouldn't I be here? Let them say no to you. You'll make your life so much easier, but we're cautious. We wanna be polite. We wanna be respectful. I say, forget it. Assume that conversation and go get it. we have to be goal oriented when we do our presentations, right? We're there to get the deal done, and that's the whole thing. Okay, so we're gonna go back.
Sandra,
And-
just one point. What's wrong with, if somebody's offering you alcohol, what's wrong with just saying, you know, when I'm working, I like to keep my mind clear so I can work
Well,
better
we're
for
just
you.
talking, it's totally up to you,
That's,
totally up to you.
You
Really
can
makes
also
no
say that
sense.
you're allergic to it. There's people that are allergic to it.
Yeah, but you know
But
what,
you know
some
what
people
happens
will
a lot of
still take that,
times
listen.
Yeah.
Paola, for heaven's sakes, we're Italian, my dear. You go tell one of our nonnas
I know, forget it.
that they're allergic. Hey, allergias, okay? No, so, you know what, do what you feel you can get away with in the moment and find a way, or just say thank you, and just leave it there. You don't have to drink it.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
the last thing I wanna do is start talking about my personal preferences, because first of all, it's not about me. I don't wanna start talking about my religion or my personal
No.
beliefs, because I might talk myself out of it. What, you're Muslim? Get the heck out of my house. Like, we don't know, right? So don't draw attention, just say thank you, and you leave it there.
You would kind of think that inconsiderate would work both ways.
Well, we're on the end of attempting to win their listing, right? Yes, Franca?
I was just, because we were just talking and, I think some people might get offended by that, not leaving it full, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Some people- that's
Yeah, but don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Just say you got a long drive, you got lots of appointments and a long drive.
And you know what, we're having a lot of discussion about the drink. Can we get on to like business? The thing is, you know what, understand the point that when someone is hospitable to you, respect that. And that's what you're doing, is you're respecting that. And you know what, sometimes I've even go so far, you can take a sip and not drink.
Yeah.
And just put it down, let them think you're drinking, right? So how you wanna handle it is totally up to you. I'm giving you some thoughts, but let's move on.
Please.
Thank you. All right, so, Mo, is it okay? I'd love to take a closer look at this kitchen. Would that be okay?
Go ahead.
Oh my goodness, this is just lovely, lovely. Did you just paint this?
Around 3 years ago, not so long
Wow,
ago.
it looks like you just did it. You did a great job.
Thank you.
And,
appreciate it.
oh, these cabinets are really nice. Now, when I put them in the listing, can you help me? Are these oak? Or are they maple?
They're maple.
They're maple. Okay, I'm just gonna make note of that. This looks like it was, you did quite a few renovations here. Was this renovated as well?
So I did 2 renovations, like I did half the house 6 months ago and the other half 2 years ago.
Excellent, excellent. Okay, so I'm gonna put here that it's renovated because a lot of the homes in this area don't have a foyer or a kitchen like this. So I'm gonna put that in the listing. Sound good?
Oh yeah, perfect.
I'm getting him to say yes. Okay, that's a yes close. So sound good? We're having a conversation. Now, if you really wanna drive it home, you're gonna wanna look at him. Well, I'm gonna put it in the listing. Sound good?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so I'm gonna look him square in the eye and start nodding yes, okay? Yes close is incredibly important. 5 yeses get them working with you, okay? My goodness, I've noticed here, you've got some great appliances, they're relatively new.
Oh yeah, each one like is at least $1,000. Like I spent on this like $9,000 on this baby.
Wow, look, oh, I gotta check, look at, oh my goodness, that's spectacular. Well, that leads me then to the next question, when I'm doing an offer for you, are we leaving this?
Oh yeah, like check out this. This makes coffee. This makes slushies.
Oh, that's fantastic.
My kids love slushies.
Look at that. Okay, you stop with your wife. Okay, so, because she's not here. So, oh my goodness. Okay, fantastic. That's great. I gotta put that in there. So, okay, so you want to leave these then as part of the listing. You're leaving these behind.
Yeah, I mean like if a buyer's taking my house, I want to leave them with them.
Oh, that's so nice of you. Oh my goodness. You know, we gotta clone sellers like you.
Yeah,
My
Italian
goodness.
pride.
Love it. I really like that. All right, well, let's take a look upstairs. And oh my goodness, this is quite a nice master bedroom. This cornice molding is just fantastic.
My wife wanted unique, beautiful.
Yeah.
So
What, oh my lord.
Your wife
That's
passed away.
3.
where's the wife?
That's
She's
3
supposed to
times,
have
because
the-
if you have a wife, she's supposed to be at the listing presentation because I pre-qualified you correctly. Okay, poor soul, she died. She died, and that's why you're selling. We say God in Italian, 100 years good health. Okay, so we're gonna keep going here. Oh my goodness, okay, and I have to add this fantastic walk-in closet, and so I'm not gonna belabor the point, I'm gonna keep going. You see what I'm doing? I am assuming the conversation, I'm taking note of everything that is important. The other thing that we're gonna do is we're going to actually take a look at the backyard, and we're going to, thank you, well, let's come over towards here so everybody can see us. We're going to also take a look at the garage. Any people do listings recently or in the past? Did you go in the garage to take a look?
Yeah.
Excellent, because a lot of us forget. And I can tell you, I did a listing, not a listing, I did a showing out in Markham, and I still remember the name of the street. It was Trojan. I was horrified. I go in, and the home looked like there had been a brawl in there. And so, and you could see that it looked like there was like a midnight run where the guys' clothes were all there, the wife and the children's clothes were kind of half there, half not there. It was a little eerie. There was a bit of an eerie feeling. I go to show the garage, and what's in the garage? On the drywall, 3 skulls in pencil. Yeah, skulls, and they had some name underneath, and with blood X. He literally, I guess, must have, the guy had obviously lost it. I called the listing agent. My client, I looked at my client. I couldn't do anything about that. I said, okay, let's go. Something's not right here, so let's go. But I called the listing agent. I said, did you take a look at the garage? And she said, no, why? It's just a typical garage. I said, well, you might want to take a look at your garage. There's like 3 skulls in there with like blood. It looks like blood. She goes, oh, the guy's an alcoholic and he was beating his wife and children and she fled. And I said, well, you might want to fix that up in the house too, because you get that feeling, and just take a little bit of paint, and just, you don't have to paint the whole wall, is to just get rid of those 3 skulls. But I did call the agent. I thought, oh my goodness, had she gone to take a look in the garage, she would have noticed. The other thing is it shows interest. So you also want to take a look at the backyard. So do take a step outside, take a look at the backyard, talk about the fence, talk about whatever pieces outside that they're leaving, right? And if the basement is not finished, you take a look in the basement.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So what will a basement tell you if it's not finished?
Water.
Lots of things, right? Mold, God forbid, the smell, any moisture. Is there a roughened bathroom down there, right? All kinds of stuff, right? Exactly. So all kinds. Grow house, yeah, all of those things. So do take a look. Sometimes we don't take a look at the basement because it's not finished. Oh, it's an unfinished basement. Okay, I'll just mark that unfinished basement. Do take a look around. And remember, this is all about being interested. So when the client sees that you are so interested in their home, it makes a big difference. Okay? Yes.
And when you're in the basement is when you can ask about if the hot water tank is rented.
All of that, exactly. There's so much. Great point, Zane. Thank you. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna have a seat.
Sandra,
Yes.
before we continue, I know Mo is a nice guy. What if one of the times that you're trying to just give that expression that you are assuming that you got the listing, yet you're filling it out and putting everything on the listing? What if you stop you and say, okay, hey, that's good, but
I've never ever had that happen.
never.
Never. It's interesting. See, it's our fear. Now, if I go in with that attitude, and I'm saying this with all due respect, if I go in with that hint of fear that maybe he's gonna shut me down, guess what's gonna happen?
He's gonna shut
He's
you
gonna
down.
shut me down. But if I go in like a leader, speaking like an authoritative figure, the chances of someone doing that to me are very, 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 very small.
So I'm not a tough guy,
Mhm.
but when I see somebody who is keep talking to me and talking to me like that, and just trying to impress me with, give me that assumption, I say something to them.
Right. So let me bring you.
With my smile.
Hold on. I'm going to bring you right back to when we first started. What you're seeing here is chopped, a fake conversation and chopped, right? We're doing it quick. I wouldn't be that in your face about it. You wouldn't even notice that it was happening. Okay? I've been doing this for over 20 years. I never, ever, ever had anybody say that to me. Never. Okay? When it's done properly, you're totally fine. If it's not done properly, and I always say, if you show your jugular, you are done. Now, let me, just to drive that point home, and then I'll get to your question, Amir. Have you ever gotten upset at a service person?
Yeah.
Frank. Yes, right? Okay, so let's see here. If it was a waiter or a waitress, you're okay with speaking your mind? Right? You would tell them off if something upsets you, right? But now if something, now Vivian's your broker, she's also in service. Would you guys talk to the waiter the way that you would talk to Vivian if there was something that was bothering you? Yes or no?
No,
No, unanimous no. Why?
because she has power.
There's a hierarchy that we all perceive. There's a hierarchy. And it's alpha males and alpha females, okay? So if you are at par with, you're totally fine. Or if you out alpha someone, they will never ever. Like bullies, when we look at bullies. Do bullies go after like the alphas? Never. They go after the ones that are vulnerable, that they know that they can get, right? It's the exact same concept, okay? Hopefully that helps.
Yeah, thank you. 'Cause I don't let anybody do that to me.
Yeah.
To try to give you that
Aw.
impression.
I should
But
come-
in a nice
I
way.
should come and list your home. Are you
Okay.
challenging me?
No.
20 years?
Are you challenging me? You know what, when it's delivered properly, they don't even know that it's happening. That's the thing. People don't even realize what's going on. But like I said, and I'm glad you're raising that, because you know what? There are people here and there are people on web listening to us today. And so I'm sure that is going on in people's heads. Oh, I would never. But this is a fake conversation today, and it's quick because I have to do other discussion as well as what we're doing with the presentation. Okay, and I always joke, when it's a fake conversation, it never always is 100%. All right, so we're gonna have a seat.
My question.
Oh, yes, I'm so sorry, Amir, tell
So
me.
when you walk in as a listing agent, so you ask him to walk you through. the
Yes,
house.
I
So
do.
I've seen a couple of videos on YouTube.
Yes.
They don't want them, say, can I see my house? on
Yes,
my
by
own?"
yourself.
Yeah.
Thank you for raising that. So there
What's
are
the difference?
gurus out there that say, I want to take a look at the home myself, and then they come down. To me, I feel that there's a lost opportunity there to bond with the seller, right? When you give someone compliments about their home, that's like, better. Or you can ask them questions as you're going along, as opposed to making assumptions by yourself. I know exactly the guru who does that. I don't agree with it, and yet I've been trained under that particular guru.
Yeah, and the six course sales training that we took. That's what we were told.
Oh, is that right? Wow, interesting.
That's
Okay.
also,
Not
let's
to-
actually point out if something needs
Go on your own.
improvement, right?
To go
Because
on your
that's
own,
part of the bonding.
Yeah.
If you say, hey, listen,
I
the
think it's
rest
a
of it
miss,
goes
I
well,
think
but
it's
this needs to be.
I think it's a missed I prefer your method.
It's a missed opportunity to close and to build some rapport. Because, goal-oriented selling is about building rapport really quickly, right? Building rapport quickly and getting the deal done. Yes.
So it was like, when he asked, can I walk, he said, no, I want to see the house as I'm the buyer. So
Yes.
I want to see as a buyer's eye.
I still can do that.
But when you walk through with someone, so they're going to tell you all the good things, because they
But
have
that's okay.
bounds
I can
to the
still
house, so
go
this is
through.
beautiful houses.
But we're doing that anyways, very naturally, whether the seller is there or not. Here's the other thing too. I want to bond with the seller. Now, if one of you came into my home and said, here, I want you to walk, I'm just going to walk through by myself. How does that feel to you guys? You're the seller, some strange
I don't
person,
let anybody.
you won't. Would anybody feel comfortable with an agent walking through their home by themselves?
No.
Right?
If
You know,
he
when
wants
you're-
to, if he wants to.
Right, and so
I'm
you
not-
might be, but
I
like,
might
let's
trust
look at.
somebody to sell my house. Or
Let's look at this class.
Yeah.
We got a unanimous, they would feel comfortable, and you were the only one that said. Now, again, this is just my opinion, and it's based on what worked for me and what has worked for the agents that I've coached, right? So there are different ways of doing it. I just see it as a lost opportunity. I really do. You're missing opportunities to close. You're missing opportunities to build rapport. Yes.
And Sandra, what's your idea, what's your opinion about having some special equipment like these laser measurement?
Yeah,
You
it
know,
helps.
It helps,
It
yeah,
does.
because we show each other, ourselves to the owner of that house that we are professional. Or for example, when he's talking about his house, we can measure the ceiling, the height
It
of the
helps,
ceiling
yeah.
and something.
It helps.
And
I'm
also
saying.
have a lighter, if you want to go to unfinished
Yes.
basement, it's so good that you have a
They
lighter.
have those things. Yeah, that's
I
a very
bought one
good
of
point.
these, a few dollars from.
Yeah, it's actually a very good point. The other thing too is, you know, back in the day when we did not have that
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
stuff, you had to see us try to measure homes. Thank God that they didn't have video cameras in the homes at that time. Because I can remember my assistant, she was this tiny little thing on beds, holding, and I'd be like over here like this. Okay, let it go, Helen. All right, let it go. Okay, and then she would hop off the bed and go to this side. And we did, my Lord, with those measuring tapes. So it helps. It's a fantastic tool for us.
Professional.
Now, you're also looking at it from the perspective of how it makes you look prepared in front of your seller, and that's a good point too. Good point. Okay, excellent. So let's get with the listing presentation. Okay, yes. I'll take one more question because I want to get
Sorry
moving.
about that.
No, because my seller has to leave, that's why.
What if we ask the seller about the house, technical in the basement, or the furnace, and they cannot answer us? They don't know about.
Well, that's common. It is up to us to be familiar though. Yeah, it is up to us. So you can ask the seller, but you should know details about by looking at it. Like I learned many tricks of the trade. When I was in the basement, I could tell the age of the furnace because there's a tag on it that shows when it was installed. When I'm looking at windows, if you look at the inside pane, I'm just going to show you guys over here.
Yes.
Yeah, when you look at the inside pane, it shows the year as well as the manufacturer. So there are little tricks of the trade, and we should know that when we go into a home. We should have some sense of familiarity with what's going on in the home. We're selling it. That's our product, right? It's like a car salesperson selling a vehicle and they don't know about the engine. Yeah, so we can ask, we can lean on them for some, but we should have that ability to do that. Make sense?
No, actually, okay, continue and then I ask.
No, go ahead, like we're on the topic
Because
now.
I think mostly the owners don't know about this information. For example, about the sauna, how it is working, or about the.
So you're talking
find out
about the
wood
seller
from
not
the
knowing.
hardwood or the.
Right,
cabinets.
I want to make sure I understand your question. You're talking about the seller does not know. You're asking questions
Yes,
and the seller
How
doesn't
can
know.
we find out about this information?
I'm saying that as realtors, we should know, okay? And there are tricks of the trade, like we should know about the subdivision, we should know about furnaces, we should have like a rough understanding. If you don't know, thank God, there's so much stuff on the internet that can help. And not only that, but you guys have lots of support with managers and myself. So if you're not familiar with something, do talk to us. But like I said, I'm gonna go back to the analogy that if you're a car salesperson, you don't know the engine, it makes it a little bit trickier to be viewed as credible, right? So it's important that you know what's going on in the home. And we can lead them by asking them certain questions, but we should also have the ability to do that. Okay, I've got to stop the questions because I have 20 minutes before my seller leaves, okay? And we'll have lots of time to chat afterwards. Okay, so here I am, I'm having a seat. We talk about the feng shui of where is the proper way to sit. So I personally like sitting with my back against a wall as opposed to a window, because apparently, now I don't know if it's true or not, but I'm going to use everything I have. And according to feng shui, if you want a powerful position, the last thing you want to do is sit with the window behind you. Okay, so you're going to want to do that. The other thing too is you're going to want to sit at the head of a table. Okay, and now here in this case I'm talking to Mo, and he's mentioned his wife a couple of times. Poor thing passed away. So I'm only dealing with Mo, so I'm face to face. But had I been dealing with Mo and a wife, I would want them to sit side by side and me across from them. If I can ideally set the table, I want to start already, okay? Sometimes it's not possible depending on how the furniture is, so do your best. But you do want to have both of them in front of you, okay? Any questions? We're good? Yes?
Now, you want to be sitting at the head of the table if it's a couple. And you want
No,
to-
exactly. That's why I'm saying I can't always do it, so you want to pay attention to certain things, okay? And do your best to do it. But you know what? Sometimes I can still see them while I'm sitting at the head, depending on the shape of the table. I don't know, it depends. Then in some cases, the table's are round, there's no head of the table, right? So do your best with the furniture, okay? But the key is, and the point that I want you guys to remember, is choose a position that shows power, right? Because we're all about showing them that we are leaders in what we do, correct?
When you take the head of the table, doesn't it send a message, an offense to some people?
I'm not gonna worry about that. I'm not worried about that. And we're gonna continue and then we'll take some more questions. I'm not worried about, you know, like why would I offend them by sitting at the head of the table?
I personally hate when people take my seat.
You know, but I'm not gonna, you know what, honestly, I'm not gonna worry about that because I'm there to show them that I'm a leader. So that's me personally. Up to you how you wanna handle it. Like it really is. But the thing is, guys, key is if you show any sense of vulnerability in any way, you lose your status as a leader. So be cautious of that. Okay? All right, so let's keep going here. So I've got my attaché case. Some people will have it a little bit different. I prefer like something like this, but nice and simple. Everything is in here. Calculator, everything that I need is in my listing package. It's in my case. Okay. Some people will show up just with this. That's fine as long as you have something else that's ready there. Okay. All right. So we're gonna start, Mo.
I have a question, quick question. Isn't it better to have a clipboard because it's easier to write on?
You know what? It's up to you. It's
I mean,
totally up to you. That's a personal thing. I really want to get through. Sorry, guys, because I really want to answer all questions. We're going to answer those kind of questions afterwards. The thing here is there is no better or right or wrong or better or worse. I'm showing you guys, as I mentioned yesterday, I'm showing you how I do it. And I'm showing you how I've been trained, you know, and I'm showing you how it's worked for other agents. Then you guys can modify. It's totally up to you. At the end of the day, if you can't pull something off, then don't do it, right? Because maybe I can do it and come across like a leader and you're gonna come across feeling uncomfortable. And I don't want that, okay? I don't want that. So take what I've got to say and apply it to whatever, you know, makes you feel comfortable. All right, so let's keep going here. Okay, so I've taken quite a few notes here and I just wanna make sure.
Do you have the same pen that you use for the client?
Pardon?
$1,000 pen.
I don't understand. Are you questioning the
Are
pen?
you using the cheap pen or using the
Whatever
very
you're
high
comfortable
quality?
with.
So I think he's referring to the $200 socks, like you.
Yeah, use whatever you feel comfortable with when it comes to pens, socks, clothes, whatever.
Watch or everything.
Yeah, what's that? Yeah, we had that conversation. I really want to get through the actual listing presentation. I don't want to focus on these items, okay? Can we do that, guys?
Sure.
Yeah.
Are we all in agreement? Okay, awesome. So let's keep going. Poor Mohammed, look how nervous he is. He's got 15 minutes. And I said, oh, we got lots of time. So let's, yeah. All right, so let's talk about how am I going to do this CMA. Now, he's a captive audience, clearly. You can see he's even nervous now. So he's a captive audience. So I want to talk a little bit about my company. I want to talk about me. This is my opportunity to sell me and the company. The CMA presentation is last, okay? Then I'm going to do the paperwork after that. So there's 3 parts to it. One, I'm going to sell myself. I'm going to show my marketing. I'm going to show my company. Second thing is I'm going to do the CMA. Third thing is we're going to do the paperwork, okay? Remember we talked yesterday about MPAC?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we talked about MPAC, and I'm not going to talk to him about the MPAC. I have it here in case I need it, all right? So in case I need it, in case he tries to tell me something, which sometimes they do. They'll say, oh, I purchased my home for blah, blah, blah. And I'll say, oh, that's odd because MPAC shows that you paid only such and such, okay? So we don't want to go head to head with our seller. We just want to show them that we are actually, exactly, that we know what we're doing, right? We have the information because that just keeps giving us credibility. The more information, what did they say? Knowledge is power, right? That is such a true statement, isn't it?
But only with execution.
Well, that's too funny. All right, so, let me show you a little bit about myself. And this is just a listing presentation here. I'm not going to go through it too much in detail, Mo. When you are, in your spare time, you can take a look a little bit.
I can take a look at it tonight.
Yes, exactly. So I'll leave that with you. That's and it's got my contact information here on the back as well. So if you have any questions afterwards, don't hesitate to call me. Apart from reading this, I just wanted to let you know that our office is the #1 brokerage for Royal LePage. We're the largest franchise.
Wow.
Yeah, we're actually 16 offices strong and 1,400 realtors strong as well.
All over GTA?
All over the GTA. We go from Lake Ontario to Lake Simcoe. So we cover quite a bit. And what does that mean for you? Because I know it sounds like I'm bragging. But what it means for you, Mo, is you have access to all of these agents. Like all of these agents are working for you. The other thing too is I always like to explain to my clients that our brokerage is strong. We've been in business for over 30 years. And I think that's important because we're going to be hanging on to your deposit. And so you want a trustworthy, incredible, strong company to do that so that when it comes time to closing, you don't have any challenges with getting your deposit. Excellent. The other thing that I wanted to mention, it shows here a graph. On average, I sell anywhere between 4 to 6 homes a month. Yeah, and your average realtor sells that in a year. Now, the only reason why I'm sharing that with you is because you've got a big decision to make. And you have to decide whether you like working with an agent that sells as many homes as I do or, an average agent. It's totally up to you. So I thought I'd mention that to you. We have a very special marketing. It's called The Works, and my in-house marketing department handles all of this from A to Z, professional photos, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to go into details with it because we all know. It's called The Works, okay? And so when you list your home with me, this is what is available to you, and that's what we're going to be doing to market your home. Okay?
Sandra, what would you say if you were just entering into the business? And you
Same thing.
First prospect, you can't say I'm selling 4 to 6 houses a month.
Then don't say that. Just go on the strength of the company. Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Now, when we list, there'll be these types of flyers that are going to be sent out like this, just listed homes. So you'll see that we're going to be doing a lot of that. Not only that, but I do these ads as well here. You'll see I do a full page ad here, and I do another ad over in here. This is what I want to drive home. Whether you're a new agent or not, your company does these ads, okay? So what you're going to want to do is inundate him with all kinds, oh my God, look at all the stuff that I get. When I show him, because people are visual, and I show him that I do all these things, there's a lot to be said when I do something like that instead of showing a PowerPoint of what I do. But when I bring samples, it's tangible. He can see. Okay, so this is very important. So what I'm doing is I'm kind of inundating him with the marketing that I do, and I'm almost kind of even, I want to say confusing him, but kind of confusing him, overwhelming him. It's like, wow, look at all the stuff that she does, right? And our marketing department, you can use any of the listings, and the nice thing is any of this stuff can be with your name on it, right? All you have to do is take someone else's listing, and you can do that with your name on it, okay?
So the newspaper part, where do you go?
Well, look at where our office advertises. That's actually just an office page.
Office page.
Yeah, so you don't have to say that all of this is yours. You just say, I will be advertising your home here and here, right? So you can just modify it a little bit. Now, the key though is, when I said that I sell 4 to 6 homes a month and your average agent sells that in a year, and you have a big decision to make, what did I do? See, not one of you guys caught that.
No, yes, we did. That means if you do the wrong decision, you look, I'm so sorry, stupid.
There's one, okay, so I'm nicely telling them
Yeah.
who I am as an agent, right? So I'm adding value. Remember the Gucci shoes versus Payless yesterday? I'm adding value, right? But I'm also doing it in a way that's being interested in him. Because I could also say that by saying, you know what, Mo, you're gonna wanna hire me. I sell 4 to 6 a month, and only your average agent does that in a year. So you're gonna wanna list with me. Not only that, but I'm with the #1 Royal LePage. We're the hugest franchise, 16 offices strong. Do you see?
Sure, right.
Right, that's being interesting, but I didn't do that, okay? I did it the opposite way, okay? So the key here is, everything that you say, every selling point that you do, it's all about him. All about him. Remember, what is the sales model today? 40% trust, 30% listening, right? So I'm building trust by telling him, look, I'm credible, I'm credible, I'm credible, okay? But it's all about him. He's got a big decision to make.
While you're in that when you're discussing our brokerage, wouldn't it also be helpful if you make references to homes in that neighborhood that were listed by our brokerage?
Sure you can. What you can elaborate. Like I said, I'm only showing the structure of it. You can add whatever it is that you want to add. Awesome. Okay, the other thing I wanted to show you, Mo, is that we do these, I do these feature sheets here, and you can see I've done it for this property here, and I've done it for this property as well. And what I'd like to do is show you what it is that I'm actually doing, because when I list your home, I have a challenge in that the buyers coming through are coming through with another agent. So this is my opportunity to sell to the buyer that's coming through, and to ensure that the buyer has the information in case their agent does not give them the info. So I look at my feature sheet as a marketing tool. I am talking to the buyer in that moment, and I set it up as such, okay? So you'll see here there's a little bit of a write-up about the home, and I would be doing this with yours as well, floor plan, because people like to move in, right? They start putting, oh, you know, the bed would fit over here. Plus, it's nice for them to have that information at their fingertips. As well as I break it down, main floor, upper floor. You can see here, I've got the living room dimensions, dining room dimensions. So there are some photos about your home, but there's also the important stuff that a buyer would want to know. And you'll see here, I put lot size, possession date, the taxes, so they have that information handy, as well as a Google area, a Google map of the area. I'm boring my seller.
Sorry, I haven't slept properly.
Because you've been prospecting, right?
Yeah.
For Friday's coaching session. I've given them tough goals, and you're gonna do it. I know you're gonna do great. Okay, so this is the Google map, and it shows all the amenities and the schools that are in the area, and this is all pertinent information to a seller. Sound good?
Yeah, perfect.
Excellent. This is true, ladies and gentlemen. I'm strategic with my feature sheets. And what I'll do is I will send them back. You'll see the different phases of my real estate career. So what I'll do while I continue is I will send these around so you can actually see. So I'll start over here. Okay. So any questions about the marketing that I'm going to do for you?
Do you use like any online features? Like
Absolutely, absolutely. And they are blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. We're assuming that we've covered all of that because the works will cover that, right?
Right, perfect.
Excellent. Okay. You can see how young I was.
You are.
Okay, so now here I'm going to go with the CMA presentation, okay? Now you'll see here, there are, if you look at item 4, it says here, at the end of my presentation tonight, one of 3 things is going to happen. You'll have the opportunity to list your home with me, or you'll decide not to list your home with me, or I'll decide not to take your listing. Any one of these is fine. Sound good?
Perfect. Yeah.
Excellent. Okay, so now you'll notice that I exaggerated a little bit, right? Anytime I say list your home with me, I point to myself and I nod and I look right at him, list your home with me, right? Or you'll decide not to list your home with me, okay? Now that is called neuro-linguistic programming. And so what we're doing is we're assisting them nicely to make a decision. We're encouraging certain reactions to come from people. And you know, it's interesting because when we talk about closing is always a fine line to, are we manipulating people? And I talk openly and honestly about this with people, and with my agents, of course. Are we manipulating the situation? I wouldn't say we're manipulating. When you train with me, I have two very strict rules when it comes to closing. And that is that we're not to close anyone who really doesn't want, like they're not interested, okay? That is not good for them. And we're not to close anyone to do something that they should not be doing, that's not healthy for them financially, okay? The skills that I'm teaching you guys are for the sole purpose of assisting people to make decisions. And one thing that I've learned from being a rookie is I was going in doing it, you know, a little bit differently, and all those not so very nice sharp agents were kind of getting all the deals and causing harm. When I know I would have done a great job for those people. And I had an opportunity, I lost out. Why? Because they were doing it and they didn't do a good job. So then I thought, you know what? I might as well apply these skills, so I can actually be of proper service to people and actually effectively help them, as opposed to having another agent that won't do that. So it's a fine line. I do understand that and I can appreciate that. At the same time though, when you're doing it to help them, it's very, very different. Okay, all right, so we're gonna keep going here. So let's quickly take a moment to review the questions I asked you over the phone. So you said you were moving to Bradford, is that right?
Yes, in around 7 months.
In around 7 months, okay. And you said you were moving because of a job location?
Yeah, I got a promotion.
Oh, good for you, congratulations. Well, that's so exciting. And so you said you had to be there in 7 months, so that brings us to, is it October?
Mid-October, you could say.
Okay, mid-October, okay, excellent. And Mo, you weren't planning on selling it yourself now, were you?
I tried, but I failed miserably. It didn't go so well because I don't have that real estate experience like you do. So I was thinking, why not work with it?
We want to clone the seller. Okay, so, and I appreciate that. That's great. You know what? I appreciate that. One thing that I just did there is, a lot of people say, well, why would you ask if he wants to sell it privately? And the question there is that, I want to talk about the elephant in the room.
Yeah.
If I walk away and I haven't asked that question, I could misdiagnose the situation, and I don't want to do that. So now what I'm also doing is a downswing, okay? We're not talking about that in this class, that's another class. But when I upswing versus a downswing is authoritative, upswing will instill doubt. So I'm actually saying to him, you weren't thinking about selling the home yourself now, were you? I'm instilling doubt and I'm telling you to say no, okay? All right, so excellent. So in that case then, now, there are only two issues that we have to look at tonight. Number one, your motivation to sell this home. And number two, the price that we set, okay? Now, anytime I talk about the price, I point to my paperwork. Why? Because I've got the answer. So I'm alluding to that already, okay? So Mo, I've prepared what we call a comparative market analysis. There are two parts to this research. Part one we call fantasy land. That's what homeowners list their homes for. Part two we call reality. And that's what real estate agents list and sell homes for. We're going to have to decide tonight.
I prefer reality.
Where we're going to spend your time. Reality? Mm-hmm. Fantastic, excellent. Now, the purpose of a CMA is to determine value in the eyes of the buyer. Do you know how buyers determine value? No?
No, not really.
I have to lead them on that one. Okay, excellent. Let me show you. Now, according to this here, they talk in terms of a vehicle. There are so many other examples that you can use, but I'm going to go through what is here on the script. If you have to go, what I'll do is I'll insert a new seller. Do you have to go? Because you were saying 2:30.
Yeah, I'll have to leave right now.
So you go ahead. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Sorry, guys. Yeah,
no worries. Thank you for all your help. I need a new, can I trouble you to be on my new seller? Awesome. Thank you very much.
Oh, you were too easy.
Okay, so for example, if you were going to purchase a new car and one dealership had a car for 20,000 and another dealership had the same car for 20,000, but it had a CD player and fancy rims, which car would be more valuable?
Obviously, the second one.
The second one, because you've got the, exactly. But now what if the first dealership put the car with no CD player and fancy rims on sale for 15,000? Which would be a better value then?
Then probably I will go for first one.
The
Because I
15,000.
can accommodate that CD player with something cheaper than
Exactly.
5,000.
Exactly, okay? So what we're doing is we're taking something away from their house and we're starting to show them and planting those seeds as to how buyers are gonna be looking at their home. So this sets them up for when I do the CMA, okay? All right, so you can see then, if you wanna increase value, we need to either lower the price or have more features and benefits. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Excellent. So unless you're planning on adding more features and benefits to your home, are you?
Not really.
No? Okay, excellent. Then price is the only issue. Let me show you, okay? All right, so here at this point, I'm gonna move all this stuff to the side. And we're gonna go through the CMA. So this is the subject home. The subject home is on the board here, just in case you guys are wondering. All right, so subject home here is 3,500 square feet. It backs onto a ravine lot. 5-bedroom home, finished basement walkout as well. Okay, so that's the subject home. So we're gonna put that to the side. So let's take a look at this property here. You can see this home. This home here is, it's listed at, was listed at how much?
1.229.
Excellent, and it's sold for?
Okay, 110% difference.
Exactly, so it's sold for 1.352.
Yeah, almost $100,000.
Exactly. Now, on the phone, you mentioned to me that you were wanting 1.389 for your property. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see what we can do. So you can see here, this home here, which is very similar to yours, you can see it's got 5 bedrooms, right? 3,500 square feet. It also backs onto a ravine lot. You can see that, right? Do you know this home?
I think, yeah, I have passed with my car once or twice. I think, yeah, I know this one.
Excellent. Have you seen the home on the inside?
No, I haven't.
Okay, well, let me tell you what happened with this home because it's actually a little bit unique. You can see that they actually purchased at the beginning of last year. And they're now selling it again. So this is also your current competition. What are they priced at?
It's less, 1,269,000.
Exactly. So if you recall, last spring we had that interesting market. They listed at this price at the 1.229, and they sold it for over asking. That same seller or that same buyer is now actually selling their property for a lot less. And this happens to, yes, and this happens to be your competition. And so you had indicated you needed to be in Bradford by the end of the summer, is that right?
That's right. That means we don't have that much time. But what if this is not the real intention of the seller?
Well, we don't know. We're about to find out because they've only been on the market for 6 days. So we're actually about to find out. See, because you know what, at this price, based on what they sold for at this price here, it's possible that they're attempting to see if they can trigger some multiple offers.
I guess so, because
it's possible.
Seems in 1 year, selling something with $100,000 loss, it doesn't make sense.
Exactly, or it could mean that they purchased, they paid too much, and they can't, exactly, and they can't afford to keep the home. But we'll see. But you know what? Let's keep going here. Let me show you the other properties here. Okay. So that's something for us to keep a very close eye. And as a matter of fact, what I'd like to do, because the market has changed so much, as you can see based on these facts here, what I'd like to do with you once a week is what I call a total market overview. So when we list your home, I'm not discouraging you from listing it at this price. When we list your home once a week, you and I are going to chat. We're going to see what's happening with this property as well as other properties, and we'll see how your home is.
Excellent. I like this.
Is responding to the market. So let me show you this home here. So you can see this home here, and what are they listed at?
1.250.
Excellent. And this home is very similar to yours.
Mhm.
You can see the square footage is just a little bit larger than yours.
Yes.
How many bedrooms?
4.
Mhm. And you can see the basement here,
It has a
separate entrance, which is the same as yours, right? But
Mhm.
it's only partially finished, you can see here,
yes.
okay?
And mine has a walkout.
That's right. So your home is actually better than this one, okay? And you can see where they're listed at here.
Yeah.
So what that tells me is we need to be just a little bit more than this home here listed, okay?
Can I just have a quick look at the previous listing it showed me? So you're telling me that we should pick the price something between 1,250 and 1,270.
Exactly. Now, she happens to be an ideal seller, but what I like is you're actually going through, like, very genuinely, you're taking a look at these stats. And this is actually what would happen with a seller. They are actually gonna start looking at it, they're gonna start figuring it out, they're gonna start thinking, oh boy, this house here went for this price and that house, so she's already figuring out where we should be pricing the home at. Okay, so good job, thank you. All right, so let's take a look at this home here. And this here, you can see is larger than your home.
Yes.
And it's not backing onto a ravine. So it's how many bedrooms?
5.
What are they listed at? Exactly.
Oh my goodness, I see there is something here. This one is better than this one, but price is the same.
Right. And this is where we start having a challenge. And what's the square footage?
It's just 3,000. Still is big, larger than mine.
It's a little bit larger than yours. So you can see where, I would love to get you this price. And again, I'm not going to discourage you from listing that price, but you can see where the facts start making it difficult for us to get that price. Wouldn't you agree?
I do agree.
Yes. Now, I just got her to say yes. That's a yes close. Wouldn't you
Yes.
agree? Okay. Excellent. All right, so let's take a look at this property here. This property has been on the market how many days?
Oh, it's more than 100 days.
Exactly. And what are they asking?
It's higher.
That's right. Very close to the price that you want to offer. Is that right?
It is. You're telling me I'm miserable.
How many bedrooms is this?
5.
Excellent. What's the square footage?
Okay, I got you, Sandra. I'm going to change this.
Right. So having said that, based on the facts, what do you feel we should be listing your home tonight for?
I tell you a number, but still I need to overview all of this information. So I think we should go for same price as these two people who already have it here.
Right.
So we have 2 rivals, each one has 1,250,000. So if we also have the same price here, and I offer a better property, so most probably I won't help them to sell their own.
Exactly, and that's exactly what would happen. So my recommendation is that we actually list your property in and around this price here, because this is your most, your biggest competitor right now.
Okay.
So my question to you is, now that we've reviewed the facts, we understand the price that would actually sell, at this point in time, are you comfortable proceeding with the paperwork and authorizing me to work on your behalf?
Yes, I think we can continue now. Yeah.
Excellent, thank you. And so now I'll get her to sign. I asked if she's comfortable. We talked a little bit about that yesterday, if she's comfortable. And the reason why I ask if she's comfortable is because if there's any challenges, she's gonna tell me right now. Yes,
Didn't talk about the commission. Is that a?
because she's the perfect seller. Sometimes it'll come up, some people will ask, some people won't ask, but we're not talking about commission today. I wanted to get you through the CMA script, right? We're doing that. But since we have time, we can actually talk about some potential, objection handlers for script.
Based on your experience, is that the most challenging issue for to get the listing?
What's that?
Is that the most challenging?
It depends. You know what? I've actually had mixed. There's mixed situations that I've had. If I did a good job showing value, then I had no issues with commission. Certain cultures don't question the commission. What is your commission? Okay, no problem, I'll sign. Some cultures do question it. So you've got a number of factors happening here. So there are times that I never had a question. I have my forms all filled out too. So I personally don't bring up commission. So I have my form filled out, and the form will actually say my full commission. I actually have it pre-done.
So the question might be, we have three others agents here, so there's.
And that's what would come out if she says, when I ask her, are you comfortable? And that can happen. I actually was coaching one of my agents, their partners, and they're up against two strong agents in Vaughan. And these agents offer 1% with a whole slew of services. So my agents have been working like crazy, and they had about, they've managed to build momentum where they now have about 4 appointments for listings a week. And they went on 2 last night. They were up against that agent that does it for 1% with all of those things. You know what I said to them? Commission is a business decision. So the seller is being adamant on 1% for the commission. I said to them, take it, don't lose it. Don't lose it to the other agent. But that's because we knew the competition, they knew because they did a good job in getting the information, right? So now they know how to handle it, but I did tell them, take it, go for it. So everybody's a little bit different. When it comes to, obviously we've got to attempt at least to take care of our commission, right? But in that situation they're up against someone who advertises heavily what they offer. A lot of people know, and there's a huge track record. They've been in Vaughan for probably 30 years. So what are you going to do in that situation? You're up against that agent, match that agent, get the business. Because if that's the only thing stopping you, then do what you got to do. Having said that though, if you have like an issue with commission, there's a few things that you can do. One thing that I do is I defer it. I really do. I never say things like I charge or my commission is. I never say things like that. I say the fee is for the selling side, 2.5%. For the buyer side, 2.5%. So I break it down because otherwise they think, oh my goodness, I'm getting 5% or I'm getting 6% or whatever it is that you decide. I break it down. So right away, my commission is only 2.5%. Okay. The seller side, I'll get you in a second, Zane. On the buying side, the 2.5%, I say to them, I need to use that as a marketing tool. Because if I've got a buyer agent and there's 10 listings out there, they're offering 2.5%, and then I come along and I'm offering 2%, I've now cut my seller at the knees. And I let them know that. I also let them know at the time of an offer, they are in control, okay? And if they don't like something, they can ask the agent to adjust their commission, okay? They can actually do that. So I defer it to the time of the offer. When it comes to now my commission for 2.5%, I'll say whatever, I don't mind discounting a little bit up 0.5% at that moment if that's what it means to get the listing. But what I say is, I don't know what I'm negotiating because I haven't made a commission yet. We don't know what your home is going to sell for. And so right now I'm negotiating on $0. However, at the time of an offer, I am open to negotiating my commission. And I will even take it a step further. If I do a really good job and I get you full price or over or get you a really good price for your home, I'm going to be asking for my full commission because I deserve it. I've worked hard. And I actually say it like that. I say them at the same time though, if I see that you are suffering financially, I will adjust my commission accordingly. If you're taking a bite, I'll take a bite. I'm not a greedy person. So I set that table. I'm constantly setting the negotiating table and I'm constantly taking the lead. Now, you're going to get some people that will turn around and keep pushing and pushing for that commission and lower the commission, right? I get that. So you got to make them feel like that they're, valid. Oh my goodness. I remember one guy, he negotiated me to 4.5% for the commission. And which is still relatively reasonable, right? When you're starting at 5%, but see, I didn't start at 5%, I started at 6%. So I made it like I was giving him, normally the fee is 6%. For you, because you're gonna be purchasing with me, I will bring it to this. So I will automatically drop it to like 5%. So they're already thinking that they're getting a deal, right? But a lot of people are not stupid today, right? And I'm not saying that that's a stupid thing, but a lot of people understand what commission is, and a lot of people are doing their homework. So if they, no, I want this commission, and I'll say, oh, you're a good negotiator. I don't do this for anybody, but you know what? I'm gonna do it for you. Okay? And that's how I handle that too. Now, one big thing that I do say about commission, and the biggest objection handler that I use and is highly successful is I would love to adjust my commission to what it is that you're asking me to adjust it to. I'm going to have difficulty, though, offering your home, marketing your home to get you top dollar in the least amount of time when I'm operating my business in the red. Because I need a certain amount of funds in order to market your home effectively. Okay, so I won't be able to do that if I'm marketing, if I'm operating my home in the red, my business in the red. Okay, does that make sense to everyone? I'll get you in a second, Arvin. Any questions about that? Because this is very important. I want to make sure. And when I say that I operated in the red and then I'm not able to do something for them, because remember, this is about being interested in them. I want to get them top dollar. I want to get them, top dollar in the least amount of time. But if I'm operating my business in the red, I'm not going to be effective for them. Okay, and a lot of people go, oh, okay, they usually respect that. Some people you'll still get giving a bit of a hard time. Some people you still will. And you know what? Commission is very much a business decision. And we had actually Anthony in class yesterday who said that he actually breaks it down. If you want this commission plan, this is what you're going to get. If you want this commission, this is what you're going to get, and so on. Okay? Zane, you had a question, and then Arvind?
Yeah, well, I was going to approach this differently because my marketing strategy is including staging. So I would say the total commission is 5%, 2.5% to me, and 2.5% to the buyer's agent. Mm-hmm. What I can offer you is contribution to the cost of staging, up to 0.5% of my total commission. Mm-hmm. For example, if your home is sold for 1.5 million, I will contribute $7,500 towards the cost of staging.
Right.
I use name of staging company, and the total cost of staging for a home like yours is approximately $600.
Excellent, excellent. So that's a different way of showing value, and that's the key. Please don't forget, like how you want to fill in the blanks is totally up to you guys. But the key is to show value, right? The minute you start showing value, and the minute that you start showing value with respect to what you're doing for them, then of course you heighten your ability to get your full commission. Okay, Arvid, you had a question?
Yeah, talking about staging and other things that you would do, would it be okay to ask them to pay for it up front and then say, once you have sales?
That's totally up to you.
Then, no, because I'm
Well, it's not really pertinent to today's class because we're talking about the actual listing presentation. And again, I'm going to keep reiterating how you guys fill in the blanks is totally up to you. Whatever makes you feel comfortable is totally up to you. How you want to run your business is totally up to you. I'm only giving you like some strategic ideas and structure. How you want to fill in the blanks is totally up to you. Zane.
From a legal perspective, I can also draft a direction to pay those funds to the staging company following the closing. It will be a direction to the solicitors, to the seller solicitor, upon receipt of closing funds, to pay the staging company such and such amount representing.
Again, totally up to you. Like however you want to do that. Those are great thoughts. Thank you guys for sharing. It just helps me to drive home a little bit more that you guys can fill in the blanks when it comes to your own business. Now, any questions about the actual flow of the actual presentation? Any questions about that? No? So let's summarize. So what did I do when I first came to the home? I want to summarize the series of events that would happen, the structure of an actual listing presentation. So what did I do? When I drive up,
you showed attention to every single detail
on the outside of the property, and I made some mental notes or actual physical notes. Excellent. What's the next step?
A warm greeting.
A greeting, so what did I hear over here?
Hello, Miss Porretta, so nice to see you.
So the greeting is next, right? And what I'm going to say, and of course I want to thank them for the opportunity. And we're going to start sliding in where we're assuming the conversation. I look forward to helping you, in the process of marketing your home or whatever it is. But we're going to start massaging and by assuming the conversation, okay? What's next?
Then show yourself very interested in have a tour in the house. Take notes.
Before that, exactly, take lots of notes. But before that, what do I do with my stuff?
Oh yeah, you show them that you trust.
Exactly. So I'm going to put all my stuff in the kitchen while I go for a tour, and I ask them to go for a tour. Now, not a question, but a comment was raised earlier that some people prefer to actually say, I will take a look at the home and I'll be right back. That again, that's totally up to you, okay? The only thing I feel a little concerned is that, and I'm just going to voice it, is it's a good opportunity to close while they show you their home, and it's a good opportunity to build some rapport while they show you their home. But again, that's up to you guys. Yes?
Why there is a stress on kitchen table?
It could be dining room table.
Oh, it could be.
Oh, yeah, it's whatever you choose. Clearly, we're a little limited, and this looks like a kitchen table. But you know what? Yeah, it could be dining room table. Some people would prefer to sit in the living room. Whatever is your choice.
Videos are insistent kitchen table.
Kitchen table happens to be like the kitchen is the hearth of the home, right? Like that's where everybody, that's where all the action is, and that's where people spend most of their time. That's where they feel most comfortable. The dining room is usually a little more formal, right? And a lot of times we don't even have dining rooms anymore in some homes, right? But the kitchen table traditionally is one that's a little more comfortable, a little more casual. So the conversation will tend to have a little more of a casual feel. What a great question. But again, that's totally up to you. I have done presentations where I'm sitting in their family room even, because that's where they're comfortable. It's harder though to do your listing presentation. So do your best to take control of that and sit at a table if you can. Because how do you do all of that when you're sitting? And so most of those sofas, you're sinking in your knees are up here. If you're my height, that's it, you're done. Your feet are hanging. You don't look too. But again, it's a personal. That's something personal. Awesome. Okay, next step. You keep answering the questions. I'm going to turn to you, but you know what? Maybe.
I know.
So what's after that? So I put my stuff down. I go for a tour. While I'm doing my tour, what am I doing? I'm taking notes. Asking them about their home, exactly. Giving compliments, right? Excellent. What else am I doing? I had another.
List your house. Should it put
Assume
this?
the conversation, exactly. So when we list your home, I'm going to include this.
What's your idea? What do you think about
Exactly. What are your thoughts? Excellent. Okay. And periodically, I'm going to toss in there a yes close. I think it would be a great idea to mention that these cabinets are oak. Don't you agree? Right? Get them to say yes to you. Okay. And now after the tour, what do we do? What's next?
Checking the backyard.
Check the backyard, check the basement, check the garage. Excellent. Oh my God, you guys were listening. This is fantastic. Awesome. Okay. And so after I've done that, so I've done my full tour of the home, I've taken notes in totality, everything is all good. What do we do next?
Have a seat and start to explain yourself and your company and the stuff that you're doing.
Exactly.
Listing with the listing.
Exactly. You're jumping, you're getting the other steps in there too. That's excellent. Hold that thought for a second. So we come back to the listing table or to the kitchen table where I commence the actual presentation. The seller offers me a drink. What do I do?
Accept it.
Accept it. It's a hospitality thing, and it's also building rapport. They're giving you something. It's like you're accepting that. Okay. All right. So we get to now the actual paperwork. So that's that portion of the listing presentation. I'm going to keep it in one segment. Let's talk about the actual flow of the paperwork, the actual presentation itself. So we're gonna start with the flow of that. You started already. So what's the first thing in my presentation?
About the office and our brokerage.
I'm going to sell my office.
Yourself and your experience and the listing that you had before.
Excellent. I'm going to sell the office and I'm going to sell myself. right? And again, fill in the blanks, however you want to use that, according to what is pertinent for you, okay? Excellent. What's next? So I'm selling myself, I'm talking about the market, we're mentioning the works, right? We're doing all that. After I've sold myself, I've sold the company, what's the next step?
Evaluate.
Show them the comparables, exactly. So the next step is the actual comparables, okay? After the comparables are all done, I ask them to, that's right, I ask them if they're comfortable. Now, before that, I ask them to price their own property, right? After reviewing the facts, what do you feel we should list your home tonight for? Okay, excellent, yes,
You have a number in your mind.
always. Yeah, we always have a number because we know. And the thing is, the comparative market analysis, when you're out there day in and day out, you don't need that. You know, I remember I never needed to do a comparative market analysis. That was done for the purpose of the seller, because I knew the homes inside out. I was out there day in and day out selling. So I always knew off the top of my head, I knew what was going on. Today's a little bit different because I'm not out there as much. But I always knew. So I'm doing that for them, for their benefit. So we do have a number in our head, always, right? But now we got to do it. We have to present it in a way that will be acceptable for the seller. How do I do that? Do I tell the seller what she should be doing?
No, show them.
I include them, right? I include them. So how big is this home? How many days on market? What is the asking price? I include them. As opposed to saying, see this, say that. Now I might do a little bit of that too, right? I also am going to consistently remind them of their motivation, the reason why they've got to sell. Okay, so in there. So you got to be, you mentioned you were moving to Bradford, right? You need to be there by the end of the summer, right? Okay, yes, Mo.
My question is about TMO. So when you and your client don't agree in the same price about or value of that property.
Right.
So you put your client on TMO. So
Yes.
you have a chat with him or her like every single week on a particular day. So
Exactly.
I want to know, and in this case, your client wants to move to another city or Bradford or whatever.
Right,
So,
right.
how long does this TMO should be?
As long as you've got the listing.
Yeah, for example, if you be with your client 3 weeks, 4 weeks on TMO and you don't put on the MLS or don't list that property, probably.
No, see, TMO is only done when you've listed the property.
So first you list the property
Yes, and then the TMO kicks in, okay? The TMO is, so in this case here, she was wanting to list at, just to make it simple, 1.4, when she should have been listed at 1.2, okay? So I'll take her price, but
so
I
you
also.
put 1.4 on MLS.
You got it. And then once a week, I'm going to be having a conversation with her about total market overview or TMO. And we're going to be reviewing how her property is sitting on the market at 1.4 million in comparison to the other properties that are similar to hers or listed at 1.4. And that I will do weekly until the listing sells.
My point is if you list that property 1.4 on MLS,
yes.
and after 2 weeks you change the price to 1.2. So when I check MLS and the properties that price change,
yes.
I say to myself, okay, I can give this property less than this amount because they already in 2 weeks they change the price and drop the price. So before 2 weeks it was 1.4, right now it's 1.2. Yes. Okay, I send the offer 1 million.
And that's actually, you know what, and that's actually a really good point. That's something for you to discuss at the table as well.
You can say, hey, listen, I hear it at the table.
Exactly, and you're going to do your best to do that. And that's actually a really good point. So you're going to do your best to do whatever.
Because in my opinion, absolutely affect on the house.
It can, but don't ever forget my example. Remember what I said yesterday about the egg on my face? You know, sometimes real estate really is this much gambling, and people will pay because they see the value. So I might be hindering an opportunity for her to sell at 1.4 by putting my opinion into it. I just want to guide her. I want to give her advice. I want to give her my thoughts, but I'm going to let her make that decision. And if she's insistent on 1.4, I take it, but I'm going to do my TMO once a week and I'm gonna help her understand why we should be adjusting the price. We gotta be careful with that. And I like what you said, I wanna kill it at the, which is great, but be careful because you could walk away, like here's the scenario. So let's say you and I are up against each other with this listing, right?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna show her, you know what, we really should be around 2.4, and she takes a look at it, she says, yeah, 2.4, but I really wanna give it a go at 1.4. I say to her, okay. You come in and you say, nope, 1.2, I'm gonna kill it at the table. 1.2 it is. So she says, okay, Mo, I can appreciate you, but I'm gonna go with Sandra because she told me 1.4, so I'm gonna give it a go with Sandra.
Right.
Holy mother, I actually sell it for 1.4 because it can happen, right? We've seen the market do crazy things. How do you look now? Egg on your face. Not only that, but what's she gonna do? You know, I did an interview with Mo and with Sandra. Oh my God, Sandra was this and this guy told me this. Your reputation, you gotta be careful. So we have to be very, very careful with what, I'm not gonna discourage you from giving that advice, okay? And I'm never gonna do that. But at the same time though, I just wanna caution you with when you gotta, you know, don't tell someone what to do, rather guide them, show them the
On
way.
the other hand, it's absolutely, it depends to how you deal with. For example, if you deal with a client that who already sold or
Yeah.
buy or sell 2-3 houses
You're
in a year,
absolutely
it's
right.
totally different when
You
you
are
go to that house
absolutely right.
that they live in this house for 30 years or 40 years.
You're absolutely
It's
right. That's why I
totally
say,
different, because they are free, and especially for those properties
I
over
know.
to $3 million, because that owners are not a simple average of
agreed.
society. They are businessmen, they're judges,
Agreed.
like engineers in high level of society. So
You're
it's
absolutely
very
right.
tough to deal with them.
Well, yes, yeah, I see your point. And the thing is, that's why I say approach with caution. I
Yeah.
like that you say you want to do that. I wouldn't want to discourage you ever, but approach with caution, that's all.
Sure.
Okay? Because you're right, when you're dealing with certain people, oh my goodness, different socioeconomic classes, we need to handle them differently. That's a whole different class. Awesome, great point. Okay, so last but not least, what do I say? What do we do?
Close the deal.
Close the deal. Well, how about how? What do I say? Are you comfortable signing? Right? Now, okay, so we're
On
gonna be
behalf
careful.
of you.
That's right, we're gonna be careful. We're not gonna call it contract. We're not gonna call it agreement. We're gonna say, are you comfortable? That's right. Signing the paperwork, proceeding with the paperwork, authorizing me to work on your behalf.
Yeah.
Why do I say that?
Because it affects on their mentality if you say contract or agreement or whatever. because
Exactly.
They make
Negative.
them nervous.
That's right. Not only that, but when I say authorize me to work on your behalf, I give her control. When I ask about the comfortable, I'm
You're deferring to that.
you got it. I'm appearing to be, you know, like a very, I want to make sure I'm not misdiagnosing that situation. I'm giving it one last opportunity to find out what's going on in her head. And she might say, well, you know what, at this point, I'm not comfortable because I'm interviewing other agents, or I want to really stop and think about it. You know, everybody does process information differently, but we'll figure out what's going on in that moment, okay, by asking that one question. So, are you comfortable proceeding with the paperwork and authorizing me to work on your behalf? Okay,
Are you gonna be having a class on objection handling at some point in time?
probably. We do all kinds. I do workshops, you know, so we'll do, you know, those kinds of things. I'm also going to be starting some video blogs. I gotta get contemporary over here. So I'm going to be doing video blogs on stuff like that because those are quick, you know. So I've actually started up a page on Facebook called Coach Sandra. And the information and whoever is being added on that is only our agents and Connect. So Royal LePage or Community Realty or Royal LePage Connect. Okay? So you'll get lots of tidbits like that on that page. Awesome.
Excellent, Sandra.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. It was fun spending 2 days with you guys.
And we look forward to you joining you for the buyers.
On my closing. Thank you. I look forward to that. You know what? That took me a lot of time. It was a lot of work. my goodness, a good 5 months that I've been putting that course together. We ran a pilot in one of our offices and it went really well. So we're gonna be bringing it to head office.
When are you going to start?
I'm not sure yet, so I'm just doing the last touch. Tomorrow is my part 4 of that class in Sutton. So if anybody wants to, Frank actually came that one time. If anybody is wanting to drive to Sutton, you're more than welcome to. I'm going to be doing the last part of that course tomorrow. That's actually going to outline all of the closing techniques, like puppy dog close, yes close, assumption close, takeaway close, all kinds of closes, cause and effect close. We're going to be
So
talking
you're
a lot
saying,
about that.
so this in terms of this listing property, it's a 2-day course.
Yes.
And that one's a.
It's going to be 4, yes. It's going to be 4 weeks. So I'm going to do it once a week for 4 weeks. And that'll probably be about 3 hours long because I want to make sure agents are comfortable. Yeah, because there's a lot when learning to close. It's a skill that we forgot because of the way the market was.
Okay.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you so